So this section of the video is the warm-up routine. Let's start with just some gentle movements to wake up the body, and maybe it's like, hello, invitation to move and practice. So it's a very playful thing, and let yourselves just move or sway in a way that feels the most relaxing and comfortable for you, with the intention to soften, open up blockages, right? Visualize the body becoming more plastic, soft and spacious. And then we settle into the Wuji meditation stance. So in Tai Chi, it is said that the perfect movement is born out of perfect stillness. So spending some time in stillness can be very fruitful for our practice. Going over the physical alignment, the inside of your heels are about shoulder width apart. Again, with the flexibility of this system, feel free to adjust the width of the stance as you find most comfortable. The feet are parallel to each other, but they can also be placed at slightly outward angles if that's easier on your body. The knees are soft, so they're simply unlocked. So you might experiment with first locking up the knee and then just unlocking. The next, we have the pelvic tilt. And so from here, let's say you have your knees locked, you might notice the curvature of the back. Unlock the knee and rotate your pelvis slightly forward so that your tailbone is perpendicular to the ground. If we had a tail extending from the tailbone, it would point straight down to the ground. And with this alignment of the unlocked soft knees but not bent knees and the pelvic tilt, we've got a straight spine. And so from this position, you would feel some sinking sensation in your pelvis, perhaps an open sensation in the abdomen, and a slightly tight sensation in the upper buttocks, but do not tense up your muscles to hold the posture. It's an adjustment of of your bone structure. Now visualize the spine is a vine reaching upward toward the sun. And visualize yourselves growing just a little bit taller. Then we have the slight tug with the chin so that the crown faces the sky. And you might have an open sensation in the crown and a raised sensation in the back of your neck. Relax. Breathe in through the nose all the way down to your heels. Breathe out through the nose or mouth. Ride out on that wave of relaxation and release with the exhale. Breathing in, being open to receive the nourishment, and breathing out, being open to release and give. Relax your gaze, smile with your eyes, and form a half smile with your lips. With your soft gaze, your peripheral vision and your frontal vision take on a similar clarity. evoke this open, vast, sky-like, friendly, and non-discriminatory awareness. It's like the sun that shines on everything, regardless of whether it's good, bad, pleasant, or unpleasant. Connecting with this quality of graciousness and benevolence with your awareness. It's like we are the hosts of our own guest house. And we can greet each experience, each thought, feeling, sensation, impulses, images, physical sensations with equal composure, valuing them all as inherently equal in value, all diverse manifestations of life itself, and allowing all of these manifestations to come and go in their own time, and at the same time taking the permission to register how the focus of our attention impacts our experience, and to take the liberty to divest from objects of attention that brings forth fear or distress, and to shift them onto objects of attention that brings forth experiences of spaciousness, ease, and clarity. Just taking the seat, and let your breath take its natural path. And we'll take a moment to connect with both the groundedness and humility of the posture, and also the dignity and nobility of this posture. Continually returning to the same principles of physical alignments and mindful awareness, we'll start the warm-up movements. So take the invitation to be as present with the movements and sensations as you can. Make it a game to make your movements as smooth and comfortable as possible. And set the intention to invite spaciousness and ease. And so visualizing the power coming up from the ground and then up to the shoulders. And I forgot to mention with the Wuji stance, as well as the whole system, we sent some roots deep down into the earth through the feet. It's like plugging in the power cords. So this series of shaking is designed to further decompress the body and release blockages or energies that no longer serve us. And so, right, just again, make it a game. Here's another free form, just jiggle and wiggle, letting go of blockages and energies that are not ours or don't serve us. and doing it in a playful way. You could visualize kicking or flicking them away, and also releasing through the exhale. We actually excrete over 70% of our body's toxins through the exhale. So returning to the Wuji stance, this is called shake like jello. So from the Wuji stance, visualize that our bodies are made of jello, except for our hands. And now let's vibrate and let the rest of our bodies vibrate. Next, we have the kick and flick. So this is about releasing tension in the joints, kicking and flicking them away. Visualize all your joints being open and let go of toxins through the exhale. Next, we gently rotate the pelvis and wrap your hands around the waist, gently tapping the belt meridian, and then slowly moving your hands up one side at a time, so that eventually you end up with one hand tapping the upper back and one the middle of your shoulder, and then gradually moving them back down again. And now straighten out the arms. Feel free to take some nice big exhalations. They're great for releasing and cleansing. All right, so next, so this has, these movements are great for releasing tension and opening up our upper body, especially the upper shoulder and neck areas. And now we're going to work a little bit on the lower body. So this is called the horse stance. The inside of the heels are from either shoulder width to maybe 1.5 shoulder width apart. And the angle of your feet is 30 to 45 degrees from the perpendicular line. And we start with even weighted. We have the same pelvic rotation. It's a very slight rotation of the pelvis. You don't want to hunch. It's just a very subtle rotation and keeping the spine straight. Starting with even weighted, we're going to visualize energy coming up from the ground, across, and pour down to the other side. And now, and just play with it. It's like water, pulling it up across the middle and pour it down the other side. And one more time. And notice your center really doesn't move. So it's not a sway side to side where your center moves. This is more like up and down motion. So now, with more energy and power on one side, you rotate your pelvis 45 degrees to the side where you're carrying more of your weight. And once the rotation is complete, now you transfer up, cross, and down. Once that transfer is complete, rotate 90 degrees, and then transfer. Rotate and transfer. And just play with this. Be curious about any visceral sensations you might feel. Relax and notice the knees line up with the toes, but do not overextend so that they go over the toes. And then on the other side, the knees are soft. We don't lock it up, and there is that knee is still correlating with the toes. So shift, rotate, shift and rotate, and take care to only rotate when the shift of power and energy is complete, and then the same vice versa. So this is the rotation from the horse stance. Next, we're going to do some work from the arrow stance. So the Wuji stance, the horse stance, and the arrow stance are the three stances involved with Yuan system. So this stance is more of a front back kind of feel, has the same rotation with it. We start with the left foot forward. You want to have some distance between your two heels, one fist to no more than shoulder width apart. The front foot is parallel to the straight line. The back foot, we are at a 30 to 40 degrees. If it's too wide, then it creates a lot of torque and strain in your hips and knee area. So here, hips, shoulders, face, everything is squared up to the front. More weight is also in the front. We keep the same principles of unlocked knees, pelvic tilt, and straight spine. And now, energy coming up, across, and pour it down to the back foot. Up, across. But notice we're not getting taller. It's just the energy is just coming up, right? Same height. So once you've done a few of these, from more weight in the back, we're gonna rotate the hips 45 degrees. Now transfer, pour it down, rotate to the front, back, rotate, transfer forward, and rotate. Be curious about your connection with the ground. Your toes should be gripping the ground. Now let's move to the other side. So starting right foot forward, enough width between the heels, the inside of the heels, back foot 30 to 40 degrees. Everything is lined up in the front, and this all moves in one piece. So shift. When you shift, the knee still lines up with the toes. Don't collapse it down the middle. Gives you more support. And then let's see. Let's now forward. Let's play with some backward and forward motion. Feet are plugged into the ground like power cords, and think about maybe pulling the energy up from the earth, right? And then sending it to the front, and visualize it going down to the earth. Now pulling it up and then send it back down to the back foot. And now we're going to include the rotation, 45 degrees, transfer, and rotate. Transfer back, rotate, and transfer, rotate. Making sure only to move on to the next component when the one you're doing currently is complete. Next, just some simple circles with the knees and some circles with the ankles. And then here we have a little bit of stretching. So keeping your knees locked up. This is the only part where we lock our knees up. Gives us a better stretch. So reach up to the ceiling or the sky, and then bend down, reach for one side and the other. Relax. Upward extension one more time, really stretch that spine. And then gently bend your back, moving your hands along the front. And just stop at where you feel that tuck in the back of your knees and hang out there for a little bit. But don't push beyond your limit. And then turn your body to one side and bend down. and the other. All right, so this concludes our warm-up routine.